Shocking. Alex Eala and Felix Auger-Aliassime walked onto the court for their US Open mixed doubles debut, with plenty of attention surrounding them. But even the most optimistic supporters could not have imagined how quickly the story would explode. On the other side of the net stood Elina Svitolina and Gaël Monfils, one of the most recognizable couples in professional tennis, a pairing built on experience, chemistry, star power, and years of competing on the sport's biggest stages. Svitolina, the accomplished Ukrainian star, with deep Grand Slam runs and a reputation as one of the toughest competitors on the WTA Tour, stood alongside Monfils, the beloved French veteran whose spectacular athleticism and unforgettable personality have made him one of the most popular players of his generation. It was a matchup that immediately captured attention. A young Filipino sensation joining forces with one of Canada's biggest tennis stars against a married couple who already understood each other better than almost any newly formed partnership possibly could. But this was never going to be an ordinary mixed doubles match, because Eala and Auger-Aliassime were not simply two talented players randomly placed on the same side of the court. They arrived with momentum, a shared connection, complementary styles, and perhaps most importantly, an atmosphere behind them that was impossible to ignore. The moment they stepped onto the court, the energy surrounding the match began to feel bigger than mixed doubles. This was Alex Eala bringing the passion of her rapidly growing Filipino fan base onto one of tennis's grandest stages, and Felix Auger-Aliassime discovering firsthand what so many tournaments had already started to understand. Wherever Eala goes, the crowd follows. For Auger-Aliassime, the partnership represented something new. He was the more established name in the traditional singles rankings, a player accustomed to major stadiums and enormous expectations, but he openly recognized the unique power Eala brought with her. Before the tournament, he joked about the unusual dynamic of the partnership, acknowledging that despite being younger, Eala had the kind of fan support capable of carrying an entire stadium. And when the two finally appeared together, that prediction no longer sounded like a joke. The crowd responded to Eala with the kind of energy normally reserved for a home favorite. Filipino flags appeared throughout the stands, chants followed her from point to point, and the partnership suddenly became more than a sporting experiment. It became a symbol of Filipino pride on one of the biggest stages in world tennis. That energy mattered because the challenge standing across the net was serious. Svitolina and Monfils brought experience that could not be manufactured. They were already comfortable together, already understood the pressure of major events, and carried the kind of natural chemistry that comes from sharing not only a tennis court, but a life. Yet the format itself created an opportunity for a team like Eala and Auger-Aliassime. With the US Open's revamped mixed doubles structure rewarding quick starts, aggressive play, and immediate intensity, there was very little time for either team to slowly settle into the match. Every game mattered. Every return could change momentum. Every burst of confidence could suddenly become decisive. That format seemed perfectly designed for the strengths Eala and Auger-Aliassime brought together. Eala's fearless baseline aggression and ability to take the ball early gave the partnership constant pressure from the ground, while Auger-Aliassime's explosive serve and power created opportunities to take control of points before their opponents could establish rhythm. Suddenly, the supposed disadvantage of being a new partnership started to look less important. Chemistry does not always require years. Sometimes it comes from shared instincts, familiar training environments, and two players who understand exactly what the other brings to the court. Eala and Auger-Aliassime also shared a connection through the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, a place that played an important role in Eala's development and formed part of the broader tennis background linking both players. That common foundation gave the partnership a sense of familiarity even before the first ball was struck. But the biggest factor surrounding the match was impossible to measure with statistics. It was the crowd. Alex Eala's rise has become one of the most fascinating stories in international tennis because her success has increasingly become a global event for Filipino supporters. From tournament to tournament, the flags arrive, families arrive, fans gather in groups, strangers recognize one another through the colors they carry, and for a few hours, a tennis stadium can feel like a meeting place for an entire community. In New York, that feeling reached another level. The Filipino community came prepared to support one of their own, and the noise created around Eala gave the match a personality that went far beyond rankings or reputation. Monfils and Svitolina may have entered as one of the tournament's headline pairings, but the emotional center of the stadium quickly shifted toward Eala and her Canadian partner. The louder the crowd became, the more the pressure seemed to move. Every successful point from Eala was met with a roar. Every big serve from Auger-Aliassime brought another surge of energy. The partnership began feeding off the moment, and what initially looked like a fascinating exhibition of star power developed into a genuine statement. Eala and Auger-Aliassime were not there simply to enjoy a debut. They were there to compete. That mentality was visible from the beginning. Instead of allowing the occasion to overwhelm them, they embraced the speed of the format and played with the kind of urgency required in short matches. Against experienced opponents, hesitation can be fatal. Eala and Auger-Aliassime refused to hesitate. They attacked opportunities, trusted their weapons, and relied on the crowd whenever momentum became difficult to hold. For Eala, the moment represented another chapter in a career that has already moved far beyond the expectations placed on a young player from a country without a long history of producing global tennis stars. Every major appearance now carries additional meaning. Every victory becomes part of a larger conversation about what is possible. And mixed doubles gave her another opportunity to demonstrate that her influence is not limited to the singles court. Her presence changes the environment around a match. Ticket demand rises. Fan communities mobilize. Social media conversations accelerate. And on this occasion, the partnership with Auger-Aliassime added another layer to the story. Here was one of the most exciting young players from the Philippines joining one of Canada's established stars, combining two fan bases and two tennis cultures against one of the sport's most recognizable couples. It was exactly the kind of matchup that mixed doubles was created to deliver: unpredictable, emotional, and impossible to reduce to simple rankings. As the match unfolded, the biggest surprise was not merely that Eala and Auger-Aliassime could compete. It was how comfortable they looked doing it. Their styles began to connect naturally. Auger-Aliassime's power opened the court, while Eala's aggressive instincts allowed her to capitalize on opportunities. Their communication appeared confident, their energy remained high, and the crowd continued to turn every important moment into a celebration. For Svitolina and Monfils, the challenge was suddenly much greater than facing two talented opponents. They were facing momentum, youth, and a stadium that had found its emotional favorite. That is the unpredictable beauty of mixed doubles. Experience can provide an advantage, but a shorter format can erase that advantage in minutes. One hot stretch can transform an entire match. One break can change the emotional temperature. One team can discover confidence while the other is still searching for rhythm. And that was exactly what made this contest so compelling. Eala and Auger-Aliassime arrived as a wild-card partnership with questions surrounding how quickly they could adapt to playing together. By the time the match reached its decisive moments, those questions had been replaced by a much bigger one. How far could this partnership actually go? Their victory over Svitolina and Monfils was not simply another result on a packed US Open schedule. It announced the arrival of a pairing capable of creating genuine excitement. For Eala, it was further evidence that she belongs comfortably in the spotlight of major events. For Auger-Aliassime, it was a chance to experience the extraordinary fan phenomenon surrounding his partner from the inside rather than from a distance. And for Filipino tennis fans, it was another unforgettable moment in a journey that has become increasingly historic with every passing season. The significance of Eala's rise cannot be understood only through rankings or prize money. Her impact is visible in the reaction she generates. When she plays, fans do not simply watch. They participate. They travel, organize, wave flags, create chants, and transform sporting events into celebrations of national identity. In a sport often defined by individual achievement, Eala has somehow turned her personal journey into something shared by millions of people who see themselves represented every time she walks onto a major court. That was the deeper meaning behind the noise in New York. This was not just support for a player, it was pride. And alongside Auger-Aliassime, Eala found a partner willing to embrace that energy rather than compete with it. The Canadian understood that the moment belonged to both of them, but he also understood that Eala's connection with the crowd could become a powerful weapon. That combination of mutual respect, complementary tennis, and emotional momentum created one of the most interesting partnerships of the event. Their shared connection to the Rafa Nadal Academy added another layer, but the real chemistry was demonstrated where it mattered most, under pressure, in front of a massive audience, against opponents with significantly more experience together. That is why the victory felt like more than a debut. It felt like the beginning of a story. The next challenge would naturally bring even greater attention because success at a Grand Slam has a way of changing expectations overnight. Before the tournament, the Eala and Auger-Aliassime partnership was a curiosity. After defeating a star-studded pair, they became a team that opponents had to take seriously. Suddenly, fans began looking ahead at the draw and imagining what could happen next. Could they continue their run? Could the momentum carry them through another difficult matchup? Could the combination of Eala's aggression, Auger-Aliassime's power, and an increasingly passionate crowd produce another surprise? Those questions became part of the excitement, because the first match had already shown that predictions based only on reputation could be dangerous. Eala and Auger-Aliassime had nothing to lose when they walked onto the court. That freedom allowed them to play with aggression. Now, after proving they could defeat a high-profile partnership, the pressure would inevitably change. Expectations would rise. The cameras would focus more closely. The crowds would grow even louder. But for a player like Eala, pressure has increasingly become part of the journey. Her career has been built through moments when the spotlight was supposed to be too large, the opponent too experienced, or the stage too intimidating. Yet time after time, she has continued to show that she is comfortable carrying expectations that once seemed impossible for a Filipino tennis player. This mixed doubles debut added another layer to that story. It showed a different side of her game, a willingness to adapt, communicate, and build something alongside another elite player. It also showed that the Eala effect does not disappear when she is sharing the court. If anything, the partnership expanded it. Canadian fans had another reason to follow. Filipino supporters had another international star to cheer alongside her. And tennis fans, who might not normally watch mixed doubles, suddenly had a reason to pay attention. That is the power of compelling personalities and unexpected partnerships. They can turn a tournament-side event into a major storyline. As the celebrations continued, the image that remained strongest was not simply the final result. It was the sight of Eala and Auger-Aliassime standing together after proving that their partnership was far more than a promotional idea. They had earned the victory. They had survived the pressure. They had delivered against one of the most recognizable pairings in the draw. And they had done it in an atmosphere charged with emotion from the opening point to the last. For Svitolina and Monfils, it was a disappointing end to a highly anticipated appearance. For Eala and Auger-Aliassime, it was a breakthrough moment. And for the US Open, it was another reminder that some of the tournament's biggest stories are impossible to predict before the first ball is struck. The stars may be known, the rankings may be published, and the draw may appear on paper to tell us who should win. But tennis has always had room for moments that ignore expectations. This was one of those moments. A wild-card partnership stepped onto the court. A massive crowd found its favorite. Two players with different backgrounds discovered a competitive rhythm together. And one of the sport's most talked about couples found themselves facing a team that refused to be intimidated by reputation. By the end, the conversation had completely changed. The question was no longer whether Alex Eala and Felix Auger-Aliassime belonged in the mixed doubles draw. They had answered that. The real question was how much bigger this story could become. With Eala continuing to rise as one of the most important figures in Philippine tennis and Auger-Aliassime bringing his own Grand Slam experience and power to the partnership, every future match now carries the possibility of another unforgettable moment. The Eala effect has already traveled across cities and continents, but New York provided one of its biggest stages yet. Under the lights, surrounded by flags and fueled by a crowd that refused to stay quiet, Alex Eala and Felix Auger-Aliassime turned a mixed doubles debut into a statement. They shocked a star-studded partnership, captured the imagination of fans and proved that sometimes the most dangerous teams are not the ones with the longest history together. Sometimes all it takes is momentum, belief, the right combination of styles, and a stadium willing to believe in you. And if this debut was only the beginning, then the rest of their US Open journey could become one of the most fascinating stories of the tournament.